Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha. The channel is Retire Abroad Finance, and it's time for our net worth update for July. So before we even go into the net worth update for July, what I wanted to do was just to give a real brief update on the situation so far with the uh, contractual work offer. And I did do a video, I'll put it up above uh, the original video when I had just received the news and um, I was pretty stressed out over it, frankly. So what's happened so far is that after spending an entire weekend with my stomach churning, over whether or not I should do this, I ended up getting a proposal together that I felt was fair. It was a heck of a lot of money because, you have to try to figure out what your time is worth to you in retirement. What is your time worth to you? And to be pulled back into a world of office politics and to be doing the precise area of my responsibilities that I hate the most, uh, my time was pretty dear. So, um, so what I did was I had initially drafted a proposal that was, I'm not going to do amounts yet. I want to wait and see how this plays out and get this all done, and then I'll update on amounts. Okay, I just want to make that clear. I don't think it's a good move professionally for me to disclose amounts while it's still going on. So, if you ask below, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Not yet, but I will give them. So anyway, I prepared this proposal that I felt was pretty fair given the situation, and it allowed for two different periods of time to do this work. It has to do with accounting. So it was, beginning of September, beginning of October. And I had not yet sent it, and I found out that the individual that spoke to me and requested this was going around and telling everyone not to worry about it. Martha's going to stay on part time. And I was like, okay, number one, I didn't say I was going to do it. And number two, why would you make that assumption? Why would you even say that? So all it did was really tick me off. Um, for those of you that at this point are saying, why didn't you just dump the whole thing? We're talking about a lot of money, because it's going to cost them. So I thought, yeah, maybe I can take a little bit of pain, a little bit more pain for that amount of money, but it's all on my terms. It's not on their terms. So at that point, I hadn't sent the proposal yet. So I went back into the proposal and I doubled everything. I doubled it all. I doubled the retention bonus. I doubled the first period charge and I doubled the second period charge. And I also stipulated that the money had to be paid out before I left, which means that they're paying the employer tax and I don't have to pay both the employer and employee tax on Social Security and Medicaid as a contractor. They're going to take that hit. It's also going to allow me to put more money into my 401k and shield some of it from taxes because this amount is, I mean, I'm up and over at this point with what I can contribute to an IRA. So, if I'm going to make all this money, I'm going to make sure to be as wise as I can with it. And then, you know, so that was last week. Sent the proposal in and just said, "Hey, let me know, if these terms are agreeable to you. If they're not, no harm, no foul," thinking, he's either going to respond back saying, "What the heck? What happened? This wasn't what we talked about." Because I had told him originally, I was thinking in the range of blah, but I need to talk to my husband. So I didn't commit to anything. I didn't commit to anything. And his response at that point was, "Well, I told you to name your price, so I think it's reasonable." not the response I wanted. I wanted them to say, ouch, so that they would work harder to get someone in the position. So, anyway, that was last week. I sent that email on the 21st of July. And since then, I've been ghosted. I've had no response whatsoever. I don't know what's going on. Now, that proposal so carefully delineated how I could be contacted, who could contact me, uh, that I was only going to be contacted via email. There would be no calls, no meetings, nothing. And my deliverables were extremely precise and detailed. So I'm not going to be able sucked into anything that I don't want to do. What I didn't put on there, a note for anyone that gets in this situation, what I didn't put on there is an expiration date to this proposal. And I was regretting it by the end of this week past. And so I reached out to ask if they had anyone that I needed to train. Since he hadn't told me yes or no, they were going with it. I said, do you need me to train anybody? This is your last opportunity for me to train somebody. And he came back and said, no, don't worry about it. I may ask you some things here and there in case I have to tag team, which told me nothing about whether or not he was going to sign the contract or if he'd even read it. I didn't know. So at that point, I reached out to our HR and let him know, hey, this may be a vulnerability. I've got no answer. And I also let HR know that this was extremely unprofessional because when you are negotiating with someone, whether it be an external consultant or an internal employee, you don't leave them hanging. You bring closure. You settle the deal, so that both parties know where they stand. I mean, I'm looking at things in September and I'm like, should I book an excursion in Milan? Should I book a tour? I don't know if I'm working. I don't know what's going on, right? So at this point, I'm getting a little spicy about it. And HR did share with me what they thought the terms were for me, and that he had yet once again said, that I was going to be working part-time and through the system. And I said, okay, well, that tells me that he didn't read the contract. Oh, sorry. And also it was shared with me that I'm going to be in Dallas next week for the whole retirement thing and to say goodbye to people. And part of that is going to be a meeting, apparently, where we're sitting down together to try to work out, the terms of me helping them. It's exactly the way I'm looking at it. I'm helping them, believe me. So I got off the phone, and the more I thought about it, I thought, this is not okay. It's not okay to treat people this way. Not okay. Uh, it's disrespectful. It's unprofessional. I'm pretty disgusted. Um, so I had a talk again with my husband. He told me to do whatever I wanted to do. It didn't matter. We don't have to have the money for our plan to work. Our plan works, and we had planned it before this was even in the air. But it is a lot of money. So, I had already decided, hey, if we get this, there are some bucket list things I'd like to do. I'd like to do some things with the grandkids. So I kind of had it in my mind and I thought about it and I thought, I can do an extra 2 weeks for the first month's work, but I'm gonna just outright deny the next month. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not gonna hang over my head. So basically, it would be in effect that I would stop work actually on September 12th instead of August 29th. I won't be an employee still, but I mean, I would still be doing tasks. So, and I'm in excuse me, in the contract, I have 100% autonomy. I mean, I have pretty much anyway for years, but no one is going to be able to kvetch or anything about my travel days or anything like that. So, zero visibility, in other words, into what I'm doing until they get the deliverable. So I sent that off today. I sent it to HR with red lines through the extension into October. Explained that I was taking it off the table. It was no longer available, and this was my price. It's non-negotiable, and I wanted to provide it to HR since I couldn't tell if the individual had even read the contract in the first place. And I said, I need to know by close of business on our last day in Dallas whether or not we're going forward with this. So I'm not going to be strung along any longer, is what it amounts to. And I feel really good about this plan. I feel really good about it. I have motivation to do it for those special items that I wanted to do with the grandkids and with Lou and myself faster than we probably would have done them. I'll do them, this year. Um, and in the next calendar year, or no, excuse me, in the next 12 months. Uh, so I have some motivation, so it won't be quite as painful those 2 weeks, but I don't have that period in between where I'm just kind of not looking forward to the first 2 weeks of October. So, September 12th, I will be free. That will be it. 5 o'clock or whenever I finish, September 12th, I will be free. And I will be free with a nice payment. So if you're ever in a situation where you're doing this sort of a negotiation, um, you know, the tips that I would give you is, calculate the taxes, number one. Calculate the taxes and see if it's still worth it after you've calculated the taxes. Number two, specify the items that you're going to be doing. I mean, in detail. I have a bullet list of the deliverables that I will give to them, specifically what I'll be doing, and that's it. And number three, put that expiration date on there. This offer is only good until blah blah blah. Force them to react to it. So those are the three things that I would really suggest. Oh, and number four, remember who's in control here. Okay. I mean, I love this company. I helped build this company. It's important to me, but I did the right thing. I gave them 10 months notice so that they could replace me. It is not, I'm not taking ownership of the fact that they did not effectively replace me in time. That is not my problem. It is not my fault. And I have a life. I have a life. So anyway, that is the update so far. We leave, I think you'll be watching this on Sunday. We leave today, if you're watching it on Sunday, to go to Dallas. And we're going to be there for several events that have to do with my retirement and probably a few trainings, things like that. I can get some people further settled into, their new responsibilities, and then also this meeting with HR. So I will update everybody, and then once I will probably do another update, next week on what happened in that meeting and whether or not I'm going forward. And then once the whole thing is completed and done and I've been paid and everything else, that's when I'm going to update the amounts. So thank you. So let's go ahead and go forward into the net worth update. Okay, so July, what a July. July was absolutely nuts in the stock market. Uh, you know, I didn't expect to see the kind of gains that we did see, and it was tempered at the end, the last few days of the market. There were some adjustments, and it led into, I mean, today is August 1st as I'm recording this, and the market did a big adjustment, which to me is just a buying opportunity, which is what I did. I did some buying. It was great. Got some real deals. But, you know, the fact is that what you're going to see here is as of 7:31. It says 7:30, but it's 7:31. So let's go ahead and get going. So emergency funds. I have a high yield savings account that is simply cash It's in a cash management account at Fidelity, so it does get almost 4%, or maybe it's over 4% at this time. Um, but that money is not touched. That money gets us back to the US in the event of an emergency or any other sort of big spend that comes in the event of an emergency. Okay, that amount is 25,051. So that's the interest it got. Next, I have my non-retirement investment accounts. So those are primarily the dividend accounts, the index funds, the cash. I have a Schwab account, and now I have a Wise account where I'm slowly converting money when it hits my target conversion rate for let's see, I'm doing the euro, so my European travel. I'm doing the yen for Japan, and then I'll also be doing the baht for Thailand. So, so that's all included in this figure. And there was an increase, obviously, of 350,718. Forgot to say, this also includes the cash management account now that we use for our expenses. So that one, there is right around $20,000 in it so far. That's where, I get the dividend payments and then I just dump them right into that cash management account because that's our spending money. And that one actually would be a lot higher, but I've started paying for quite a few things ahead of time, some cruises and things like that while I'm still employed. So there have been some payments coming out of that that would have been a lot higher. Like I said, the market's been doing really well, and the dividend plan has been working stunningly. So I've got a lot extra. Okay, our 401k traditional went up, up and above what I actually put into it, which is exciting. So market gains. I also transferred all of my different well, going forward, the money going forward is all going into a target date 2070 account because I didn't want to buy any more funds that have any sort of a higher fee. I just want to deal with what I have. So, because I'm going to be moving this money as soon as I retire, that money will be moved over into Schwab so that I'll have money in Schwab and I'll have money in Fidelity. I'm all about redundancy, and so this will give me more redundancy. But anyway, so I didn't want to buy any funds that are front loading. I think I have one that's still front loading in Fidelity or in my 401k rather, and I just didn't want to buy any more. And I thought, you know what, I'll just put them all in the one fund. Easier. Okay, 401k Roth, that also went up. That's up and above what I usually put in, so also good to see. It's all about the market right now. IRAs. Uh, these are it's two IRAs that my husband and I have from prior jobs. We moved into Fidelity. So that went up as well. That actually didn't get any new money at all in the last several months. So you can see where it's been going up, and that's really going up because of the market. So that's nice. Same thing with the Roth. I didn't do any contributions the last 2 months with the Roth, so it's just been climbing. So that's really cool. Okay, HSA. I do continue to contribute to the HSA. I will not be allowed to contribute past August 29th or August 30th. Um, so, it is what it is, and it's going to be prorated in the IRS's eyes, so it's not like I can prepay it for the whole year. I looked up to see if I could, I can't. So pretty much it's going to be at around 18,000, 18,500, something like that when we end up. And then after that, I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna cash flow because that's a great retirement account. If you don't know, your HSA is fantastic, fantastic to have when you go into retirement. It's wonderful to have an HSA. If you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a video about HSAs. So that brings my net worth to 717,457.64. So the couple of days before the market started doing a downturn, I was up to 722. So, not quite a 1% drop. Now today, today there's been a bit of a drop. But like I said, I bought in at a really good time to several things, including picking up some index funds at a steal. Those are already on their way up as we speak. Um, so I can't fuss about it, but just know it's going to go up and down. This 750 goal, it's going to be reached, I think, after I retire, unless they sign that contract. So it's okay. I'm going to keep doing these until I reach the goal, and then maybe I'll set myself a new goal. We'll see. The amount short, 32,542. Our month over month increase is 19,900. So really nice growth and dividend growth, both in the market. And that means a net worth increase of 2.85%. Really happy with that. Really happy with that. So here we have our graph. After the latest results, you can see it's still following the trend line up. I'm still going up. So this is super exciting to me, watching this growth. We've worked a long, hard time for this. It's been a lot. So anyway, having said that, back we go. The dividends for this month entirely, this is all of my dividends, was $8,500 for the month. And of that, the bridge year dividends was 6301. This is fabulous because we only need, or we're only using $4,000 a month in our budget. So August is going to be a high dividend month for a couple of different reasons, but the fact that we got 6,300 where we need 4,000 is making me really feel good about this. June was not a full month with everything in place. It was close to it, but not quite. This is the first month that every single thing was in place in my plan, and it generated 6,300 in the taxable dividends account for us to use going forward during the bridge years. So I'm feeling really good about it. I mentioned, there's a couple new items I'm doing going forward. I mentioned one of them was that I set up my Wise account. So I did already convert money into euros and into yen. And well, actually, let me see really quickly. Just looking into my Wise account right now on my phone, because what I did on the Wise account, the dollar's really strong today. Go figure. The market's an issue, but the dollar's strong. Okay, so it didn't transfer yet. So I put in a target order to transfer from US dollars into euros if it hit $1.10. That's the price I've chosen. It might be a pipe dream. I don't know. Today's price is $1.13, at least it was when I looked this morning. So maybe I'll change that to, I don't know, maybe I'll change it to $1.12 or $1.11. I don't know. But I want to see if I can get $1.10. So there's that. And then the second thing I've started doing is I've started learning how to trade options. And I'm doing this very, very conservatively. I'm doing cash secured puts, which is basically, um, you're not borrowing any margin. You're using, well, I'm not borrowing any margin. You can do it that way, but I'm not borrowing any margin. I'm only using cash I have. And I'm only investing in uh, really strong companies and companies that I wouldn't mind owning 100 shares of because I think they're solid companies. And I do this by looking through their financials. So for a matter of example, I did one today. I closed one out today for CloudShare, which is NET stock ticker. I did one for Amazon that I may end up owning those Amazon shares, but I'm going to own them at a really good price because I got the cash secured put before it started to climb this last week. So I'm going to own them at a really good price, and then I can either wait until Amazon comes back up again after earnings and sell it, or I can sell calls. So anyway, I'm learning how to do this. I have a specific amount of money that is mine to use. Lou and I both agreed on, so I can quote unquote play. And my goal has been $250 a week. In July, I made $2,600 because it was uh, earnings. It all centered around earnings. So it was really successful. So anyway, I brought my goal down to 250 a week because it's not every week is earnings week, frankly. Um, but I'm going to continue to play. I'm having a really good time with this. I've had one trade was a loss of 1 cent. That was when I didn't understand what the heck I was doing, and I quickly got out of it again. So I think I lost like $1. It was 1 cent a share. And then I've had a couple of trades I've had to roll, but each time I rolled, I made sure that I was making money on the roll. So I'm having fun with this. I'm really having fun with this. And, like I said, the most risk that we will have is that we'll end up earning 100 shares of Amazon stock or Nets, cloud share stock or something like that, which, like I said, I'm picking companies um, that are doing really well and that have excellent financials and that have a good uh, analyst sentiment. So, I should say market sentiment. Um, but anyway, I need a hobby, right? I need a hobby. I'm a hobby person. My husband knows, give her a hobby or you'll go crazy. So, this is my hobby. And he's excited about because it's a hobby that will possibly make us some money. So, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I know that was a lot to digest all in one fell swoop. Um, I may end up sharing some information about my options, which ones I'm trading, which ones I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into that. I am like the beginnerest of the beginners, right? Um, but if you want to see something like that, just let me know below. Um, you know, as always, this is not meant to be financial advice. I'm not an advisor. This is what I'm doing myself. This is what I'm doing so that we can retire early. I will be 58. My husband's already retired. He retired at 62. Excuse me, he retired at 60. He's 62 now. So this is what I'm doing. And we are that much closer to our goal of 750,000, which we'll use that money and travel the world. So anyway, I hope you're having a fantastic weekend and I will see you in the next video. God bless. Bye.